Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up for the wildest morning show meltdown that set the internet ablaze. Mark Wahlberg kicked off Good Morning America after a fiery clash with George Stephanopoulos. It's October 16, 2025, and the ABC studios in Times Square are humming with the usual early morning chaos. A crew adjusting lights, audience settling into their seats with complimentary coffee, and the co-hosts Robin Roberts and Michael Strahan exchanging light banter off camera. George Stephanopoulos, the seasoned anchor at 64, with his signature silver hair and sharp suits, is prepped for what should be a routine celebrity interview. Enter Mark Wahlberg, the 54-year-old Boston-bred action star, muscles bulging under a tailored black tee, here to plug his latest biopic on a controversial historical figure, a film that's already stirring Oscar buzz but also backlash for its gritty take on American heroism. Mark's no stranger to GMA. He's charmed the couch before with tales of his burger empire and family life, but today, the air crackles with unspoken tension. It starts innocently. George welcomes Mark with a firm handshake, the audience applauding as clips from the movie roll, showing Mark in intense action sequences. Robin chimes in about his fitness routine, that infamous 4 a.m. workout grind, and Mark laughs it off. Gotta stay sharp, you know, life's a fight. But George, ever the journalist with his Clinton-era roots, steers into deeper waters, probing the film's portrayal of patriotism amid today's polarized politics. Mark, some critics say this glorifies a divisive era. How do you respond to accusations of whitewashing history? It's a fair question, but Mark's eyes flash, his jaw tightening. He's been vocal about his conservative leanings, clashing with Hollywood's liberal bent before. He leans forward, voice rising. George, come on, man, this is about real heroes, not your DC spin. I've lived it from the streets to the screen. The audience murmurs, sensing the shift, as George presses, but with elections heating up, doesn't art influence votes? That's the spark. Mark erupts. You're twisting it. You media types always do. I built my life from nothing, no handouts, and now you're calling it divisive? His Boston accent thickens with passion, fists clenching on the armrest as he stands abruptly, knocking over a water glass that shatters dramatically on the floor. George remains composed, but his tone sharpens. We're just discussing, Mark. But Wahlberg's not having it, pointing accusingly. No, you're ambushing. I came to talk movies, not your agenda. Chaos ensues. Producers scramble in the control room, whispering frantic cues into earpieces, while Robin tries to mediate with a soothing, "Let's take a breath here." Michael Strahan, the ex-NFL giant, stands ready to intervene, his imposing frame a silent deterrent. The live feed cuts to commercial abruptly, but not before millions witness the standoff, phones already buzzing with recordings. Backstage, security escorts Mark out, his publicist trailing with apologies, while George smooths his tie, muttering to aides about unprofessionalism. Social media explodes instantly. Wahlberg clash trends worldwide, clips amassing 10 million views in hours. Fans split between Mark's a boss for standing up and George owned him with facts. TMZ drops exclusives. Insiders claim Mark felt baited after George's pre-show questions veered political, tying to Wahlberg's past 9/11 comments where he boasted he'd have stopped the hijackers. A sore spot resurfaced in recent podcasts. George's camp fires back via statement. We value spirited debate, but respect is key. Mark tweets from his car. Truth hurts, but I'll keep fighting. Love to the fans. Pundits on CNN dissect it as a microcosm of America's divide. A blue-collar grit versus elite journalism. Late-night hosts prep monologues. Jimmy Kimmel jokes. Mark versus George, the rematch we didn't know we needed since Rocky. But dig deeper at this clash brews from years of simmering tensions. Mark's transformation from Marky Mark rapper to devout Catholic family man includes philanthropy like his youth foundation, yet his rap sheet from teen brawls haunts him, amplified by George's gotcha style. George, post this week, has grilled presidents a star's no match, but Mark's street smarts make him unpredictable. The film's director defends Mark in Variety. He's passionate. That's why he's perfect. Ratings for GMA soar 30%, proving controversy pays. As the day unfolds, Apology strictly. Mark's rep emails ABC, heat of the moment. While George addresses it on air post-break, passions run high. We move forward, but the scar lingers, fueling water cooler chats nationwide. Imagine the green room pre-show, Mark pumping iron in a corner, George reviewing notes on policy ties. Small talk about kids. Mark's 4 with Durham, George's 2. But undercurrents of worldview wars. When the clash peaks, audience gasps echo, one fan yelling "Go Mark!" Security's gentle but firm, Mark exiting with head high, flashing a peace sign to paparazzi outside. By noon, endorsements roll, Trump retweets support, Mark tells it like it is, Biden's team stays mum, Hollywood buzzes. Will this tank the biopic or boost it? Early box office projections spike. Mark heads to his Wahlburgers joint, venting to brothers Donnie and Paul over burgers. They tried to trap me. George lunches with Robin, reflecting, reminds me of '92 campaigns. A fire everywhere. This moment, it's raw TV gold, humanizing icons as flawed fighters. As night falls on NYC, billboards glow with Mark's face. The clash a catalyst for dialogue or division. Stay tuned as this story's just punching in. Rewinding the tape on this epic GMA showdown, let's unpack the buildup that led to Mark Wahlberg being booted after his heated tangle with George Stephanopoulos, a clash that's now etched in morning TV lore. Weeks prior, promo teasers for Mark's film Patriot Stand flooded airwaves, portraying him as a whistleblower in a post-9/11 thriller. Themes that echo his real-life patriotism rants. Critics like those at the New York Times labeled it jingoistic, prompting George to prep hard-hitting questions, his journalistic instincts honed from years dissecting scandals. Mark, fresh off a Vegas boxing event where he shadowboxed for charity, arrived at the studio cocky, entourage in tow, unaware of the ambush vibe. Pre-interview chit-chat seemed cordial. George complimenting Mark's transformation from Calvin Klein model to mogul, Mark nodding at George's book on resilience. But as cameras roll, the facade cracks fast. George dives in post clips. Mark, your character fights corruption. Does that mirror your views on Washington? Mark smirks. Absolutely, drain the swamp, right? Laughter from audience, but George counters. Yet some say your past comments on heroism border on fantasy. Care to clarify? Referencing Mark's 2012 Esquire interview where he claimed he'd have thwarted 9/11 terrorists if aboard, a quote that's dogged him. Mark's face reddens. That's low, George. I was hyping a movie, you twist it for clicks. Voices escalate, Mark standing. This ain't journalism, it's gotcha. George retorts calmly. It's context, Mark. The shatter of glass punctuates, water spilling like symbolic floodgates. Robin interjects, gentlemen, let's focus on the positive. But Mark's pacing now, mixed still hot, positive, like how you elites ignore real America? Michael's on his feet. Easy, brother, his athlete calm diffusing slightly. Cut to black, a commercial for cereal. Ironic normalcy. Control room pandemonium, execs yelling pull him. While social teams monitor the viral storm, post-ejection, Mark's in a holding area, cooling off with a protein shake. Publicist fielding calls from agents worried about endorsements like his F45 fitness chain. George's team huddles, deciding to address on-air. Debate is democracy's lifeblood. But lines exist. Twitter now XA lights up. Elon Musk chimes in. Free speech clash. Go Mark. Celebs weigh in aid. Wayne Johnson DMs support. Stay strong, bro. Alyssa Milano tweets against. Entitled much. Metrics skyrocket. 15M views by lunch. Hashtags like #Mark vs George battling #meltdown. Deeper roots. Mark's faith-driven life. A daily mass. No-nonsense ethos. A clashes with George's analytical, sometimes prosecutorial style. Past GMA guests like politicians endured his grill, but Mark's not scripted for that. Film's producer leaks to Deadline. Mark's authentic, that's the fire we cast. Apology tour begins subtly. A Mark's Insta story. Workout vid caption channeling energy positively. George mentions a newsletter. Passionate exchanges make us better. But fallout ripples. Sponsors pause ads, then double down for buzz. Audience polls. 55% side Mark for realness, 35% George for professionalism, 10% blame producers. Late afternoon press, ABC statement. We regret the interruption. Dialogue continues. Mark flies back to L.A., jet playlist heavy on rap roots, reflecting on his journey from troubled youth to $400 million empire. George raps show, heading to D.C. for a panel, pondering celebrity fragility. This incident spotlights media's tightrope, entertain or enlighten. Viewers crave both, but sparks fly when worlds collide. Broader impact, talk shows and security, pre-vetting questions tighter. Yet, it's a win for authenticity in an eye-curated world. Fans recreate the clash in TikToks, voices dubbing hilarious twists. Mark's biopic trailer views triple, turning lemon to lemonade. George's book sales tick up, curiosity peaked. Personal angles, Mark calls wife Rhea, "Babe, it got real." Her support unwavering. George's spouse Ollie Wentworth, the comedian, jokes on her pod, "My hubby's a pro at verbal spars." Bonds tested, but resilient. As echoes fade, lessons linger. A passion's power, restraints roll. This clash, a chapter in TV's turbulent tome, reminding us stars are human. Hosts to tomorrow's GMA, business as usual, but with a wary eye on the couch. The saga simmers, ready for sequels. Diving into the aftermath of Mark Wahlberg's explosive exit from Good Morning America following his verbal brawl with George Stephanopoulos, it's a tale of redemption arcs, ratings gold, and cultural reckonings that keeps unfolding. Hours after the incident, as New York buzzes with brunch crowds dissecting the drama, Mark's team orchestrates damage control as Zoom with crisis PR gurus mapping apologies without a weakness. Meanwhile, George's post-show debrief with Robin and Michael turns reflective. "He came loaded, we stayed steady." Audience members exit buzzing, one telling reporters, "It was electric, like WWE on news." Social platforms boil over, Reddit threads in our television explode with frame-by-frame analysis. Body language experts claiming Mark's stance screamed defensive alpha, George's gaze unflinching interrogator. YouTube compilations rack up millions, edited with dramatic music from Mark's Fighter soundtrack. By midday, major outlets like Fox News hail Mark as every men's hero against media bias, while MSNBC backs George for holding accountable. The divide mirrors national rifts, with polls showing blue states favoring George, red ones Mark. Celebrity solidarity pours in. Sylvester Stallone texts Mark, "Kid, you punched back a proud." Matt Damon, Boston Kin, calls George, "handled like a champ." The film studio capitalizes, releasing a behind-the-scenes clip emphasizing Mark's dedication. Views surging, but shadows loom. Sponsors like AT briefly waver, then recommit, citing authentic engagement. Mark hits the gym in LA by evening, pounding heavy bags, channeling fury into fitness, his trainer noting extra fire today. George dines with family, Ollie quipping, "Next time, interview kittens." Apologies formalize, Mark's statement via people, respect to GMA. Passions flared, but no hard feelings. George is on air next day. Yesterday's heat reminds us why we talk. A growth. Reconciliation whispers, producers float a follow-up, but egos pause it. Deeper cultural dive. This echoes past TV blow-ups, like Kanye on TMZ or Charlie Sheen rants, but with political undertones. Mark's conservative podcast appearances, slamming woke Hollywood, set the stage. George's dramatized fuel perceptions of bias. Academics at New Media Studies cited in lectures on celebrity journalism ethics. Fan reactions vary. Wahlberg loyalists boycott ABC, others stream GMA more. Economic boost. Wahlburgers sees 20% sales spike from sympathy eats. George's charity for veterans gets donations, tying to film's theme. Personal growth. Mark journals on faith, forgive, but fight for truth. George reads up on Mark's youth reforms, gaining respect. Broader ripple. Late night skewers. A Colbert mimics the clash. Mark, if you were on that plane. Commercial break. SNL preps skit with impressions spot on. International echo. UK tabloid scream Yankee yell fest. Aussies relate to Mark's underdog vibe. In Asia, it's dissected for American machismo. Social good emerges. Dialogues on mental health in high-pressure interviews. With op-ed praising boundaries, Mark pledges to his foundation, aiding at-risk youth with conflict resolution programs inspired by the day. George guests on a pod. It's not personal, it's professional. As Week's project, the biopic opens strong. Reviews noting Mark's real-life intensity bleeds on screen. GMA's format tweaks subtly. More feel-good segments balancing hard hits. This clash, once chaotic, catalyzes change from personal pacts to public policies on media conduct. Viewers, hooked, demand more rawness, less rehearsal. Icons evolve. Mark softens edges in next promo. George hones empathy. Their paths may cross again. Awards season? With handshakes healing. This narrative, a testament to resilience, where fire forges stronger steel. The story's legacy, in every heated debate, a seed of understanding. As curtains close on day one, tomorrow beckons with fresh headlines, but this one's indelible. Zooming out to the global reverberations of Mark Wahlberg's GMA ejection after his intense showdown with George Stephanopoulos, it's astonishing how a Manhattan morning mishap morphs into worldwide water cooler fodder. Across the pond in London, BBC Breakfast replays clips, hosts debating American bravado versus British reserve, with viewers texting in support for Mark's gutsy stand. Tabloids like The Sun splash headlines, Wahlberg's wallop on woke anchor, fueling pub chats from Liverpool to Leeds. In Australia, where Mark's films crush box office, Sunrise recreates the scene comically, host Carl Stephanopoulos channeling George's poise. Mate, that's a fair dinkum dust-up. Ratings there jump, tied to Oz's love for underdogs. Francis Le Figaro analyzes philosophically, Le Clash, patriotism provocation? Salons in Paris buzzing with comparisons to Depardieu's outbursts. Italy, with Mark's Catholic ties resonating, La Repubblica profiles his faith journey, fans in Rome dubbing him Il Combattente. Asia amplifies, Japan's NHK airs subtitled snippets, tying to samurai honor codes, while Korea's KBS dissects body language. Wahlberg's fire, 90% passion. Bollywood stars tweet parallels, Shah Rukh Khan noting, clashes create classics. In China, Weibo trends #Mark Clash, censor but sly discussions on media freedom. Latin America heats up, Mexico's Televisa specials El Enfrentamiento, with Salma Hayek defending Mark's grit. Brazil's Globo links to soccer rivalries, like Messi vs Ref. Africa chimes, South Africa's Inca debates cultural contexts. Hollywood's divide mirrors our own. The universality, every man's frustration with power structures, amplified globally. Metrics, 50M international views, translations flooding YouTube. Brands adapt, Nike's ad with Mark, fight your fight. George's book goes multilingual, sales booming in Europe. Philanthropy crosses borders, Mark's foundation partners with global youth orgs. George aids international journalism funds. Celeb crossovers, Ronaldo DMs Mark, brother, stand tall. The Queen wait, King Charles stays silent, but royals watch. Challenges, misinterpretations, like Middle East media framing as Western ego clash, but positives prevail. Empowerment waves, men worldwide discussing emotional expression. Mark tours Europe post-film, panels packed, sharing lessons from the couch. George speaks at UN Media Summit, debate without destruction. Their duo inspires. Joint virtual event, fans petition, as cultures converge. The clash symbolizes shared struggles. A1 Studio, myriad mirrors, back home. It spurs voter talks pre-election. This global groove proves TV's reach, turning tension to transnational ties. Horizons broaden, clashes connect continents.